Hi, I'm Lewis. I'm a British software developer with a keen interest in game development. Over the last few months I've been creating small games with the monogame framework, and recently I've decided to record my progress. So come join me as I create new games and develop features for my game engine. This is the third devlog for Project Torrim. Project Torrim is a tower defense game and it's progressing well. Last week I managed to organise the project and create the very first level. This week I'll be looking at finishing off the level task list and starting the tower buying task list. This should bring the project one step closer to MVP. Today I shall be finishing off the level task list that I started last week by creating a new enemy. The aim of this task is to create a second enemy as proof the game can have a variety of enemies. The note I added to the task originally was to make a big yak, however I'm interested in expanding to the larger bovine family in this game, so I'll be creating a bison. I've googled for some reference pictures, so I will get to work creating a new sprite. This is my bison sprite. I quite like the head I've created for it, however I'm not too sure about the body since it's been squeezed into a 32 pixel limit. What I'll do is I'll get it in game and see if my opinion changes on it. So I've temporarily replaced the yak sprite with a bison, and I'm much more confident with their look, however there are two glaring issues with this. First, the colour of their legs almost merges into the path, so they look quite floaty. And second, there's a strange line that appears in the up-facing version of the sprite, so I'd like to fix these issues. Oh, there we go. That looks much better. You can see the legs, and there are no strange artifacts in the sprite. To fix the legs, I changed their colour to match that of their head hair. And the strange line that was appearing was actually from the side sprite being too high up in the image, so I just moved that down by 1 pixel. Next I'm going to implement this properly so both yaks and bison can spawn together. When I open the game now, you'll see both enemies spawning. Which enemy spawns is currently random, but in the next stage of the project I'll be creating a wave-based system. The yaks are exactly the same as before, and the bison have more HP but are slower. I'm really pleased with today's progress. I think the bison look great and fulfill the criteria I set out in the enemy task. This means I can set the enemy task to done and get rid of my first task list in the MVP stage. Today I'm starting the tower buying task list. The first task on this list is to create some basic UI components which should aid in creating the tower buying menu. The main features I want to add to UI components are the ability to stretch across the screen and the ability to align to an edge. Hopefully this will be straightforward, so I'll catch up when I have something. Okay, so this is what I currently have. I have a panel that can fill up a percentage of the screen. This can either be width, height, or both. I've also made these panels align with the edge of the screen, which means in the future I can easily align the UI to any edge that I want. Currently this all gets calculated when the game loads, so in the future I'll look into dynamically updating this when the screen resizes. I'm going to finish off today by implementing this alignment stuff to my buttons. It's Wednesday, and this morning I'm starting on the actual tower buying menu itself. This task is quite large, so it might take some time, but luckily I already have the ability to drag towers onto level and already list all the available towers, so it may be easier than it first seems. Last time I thought about this menu, I drew a small mockup, and that's what I'm going to implement today. With one of the main changes to that original mockup being a buying button on the menu itself rather than dragging from the lower button. So let's get to it. When I open up the game, I can show you my initial progress for this menu. You'll notice there's another orange button in the middle of the screen, a small red close button, and a small green buy button above that. The close and buy buttons aren't meant to be there, they're meant to appear with the rest of the menu when you click the main button, which when I click, I'll get a box with the tower information. This is currently dummy information, but it gives you an idea of how the tower information will be presented, which I'm hoping will work out quite well. This morning I'm continuing on the tower buying menu. I'm going to see if I can get the menu to show the actual tower information and fix those floating buttons. This is what I've got so far. I have a menu that will let you buy a tower appearing when you click a button at the bottom of the screen. The menu shows the information for each individual tower, such as the monk and the friar. Then the buy button lets you spawn a tower to play with. Whilst developing this, I came across a couple of issues. The first issue is that the menus overlap with each other. This hides the information in the menus and provides a bad user experience. The second issue is that the buttons are still active when they are hidden. I can easily highlight this when I open the monk menu and click roughly where the friar buy button is. This has spawned the friar even though the menu wasn't up. And I can do the same thing if I close the monk menu and roughly guess where the buy menu is. These are clearly issues, so I've added notes to my Trello task to look at them tomorrow. It's Friday, the last day in my development week. Today I hope to finish off the tower buying menu task. I'll be working on the issues I spotted yesterday, which includes adding a pricing mechanic, showing only one menu at a time, and fixing a bug with the buttons being able to be clicked when they're hidden. So I'll catch up when I've got something here. I've just finished the checklist in the tower buying menu task. When I open the game, you'll notice a score in the top left, which is how much you can spend. You'll start with 100 to buy your first tower, and you'll gain score through killing enemies. Clicking on one of the tower buying buttons will open up the menu, which I think is looking great. Only one instance of this menu is allowed open at a time, and you can no longer click on the hidden buttons. I'm absolutely pleased with this week's progress. The new enemy adds some variety to the gameplay, and the tower buying menu enables the player to spawn towers properly. At later stages of development, I'll be looking at balancing the pricing of towers and spawning enemies so you don't get killed as quickly as I do when I was testing this week. As for the game engine, adding new UI elements really provides a great base for more complex UI in the future. Thanks for watching this video. It's really fun to record my development progress on Project Torrim. I hope you're enjoying watching. Let me know if you did by leaving the video a like, and if you want to keep up to date with the progress on Project Torrim, then subscribe to my channel. Thank you and goodbye.